Alright, you guys, welcome back to some more Hapymaher. We finally figured out what we're going to be doing with this donut. We're just going to use somebody else to test it out on. And I think that's a beautiful idea. I think that's a very good idea. Anyways. What? No, never. Couldn't be. Not as stubborn as you. When she left the preparation room, Club Prez returned to her dependable upperclassman mode. She's too good at this. Never trust a woman who has multiple personalities, which is all of them. As we returned to our classrooms from the special wing where the science room was, a very familiar face was waiting. Saki, what are you doing here? I mean, I'm doing great. Yeah. Her gaze was so strong that it was almost a glare. Okay, then just call it a glare. Yeah, I understand that she worries too much. I'm fine. I got you around. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing yet. I haven't played enough. Club Prez put her arm around my shoulder with a grin. Yeah, I don't think it's a good thing. She certainly looked like a good senpai, but in my mind, she was like a snake flicking its tongue behind me. Club Prez, are you trying to provoke Saki? What? I'm such a nice guy. Who would be bothered by me? Saki returned a light chuckle of a laugh. What was with this atmosphere? I could practically hear a pin drop. By the way, Saki was well aware of Club Prez's facade. Why is this happening? You could say that line a lot in visual novels. Why is this happening? How did we get in this situation? And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of those in this game, because I really don't feel like I touched the surface quite yet. I feel like I'm just getting into this. Well, because Club Prez was messing with Saki. Yes, that's true, huh? Even though Saki was on edge on the inside, she was no match for the shameless Club Prez. And because Club Prez knew this, she seemed to enjoy messing with Saki even more. It was like a child teasing a chained-up dog. This was her true personality. This is why she didn't have many people that she could call friends. Wow. I was just thinking he was thinking something rude. So I'm glad you were thinking that I was thinking that he was thinking something rude. Glad we're both thinking the same thing. You're imagining things. So Saki, you just came to check up on me. Yeah, why are you asking her about my eating habits, huh? Saki questioned Club Prez instead of me. Even as she asked, it seemed like Saki knew what the answer would be. Club Prez turned to me with a leisurely smile. Oh, we sure as hell didn't eat that donut. Even if you lie now, it'll be obvious, so don't try to conspire with me. When I answered like this, Saki's shoulders dropped dejectedly. She then took something out of her handbag with her textbooks and leaflets and thrusted it towards me. It was a jelly drink pack. Okay, not quite what I was expecting. I was thinking maybe it's going to be a yakisoba sandwich. That seems to be a popular meal for lunch, but one of the things advertised as being good for breakfast if you hadn't had time for a real meal. Well, that's perfect for us then. Right. Oh, I'm gonna make her worry a lot, unfortunately. That's just the kind of person I am. Club Prez swung over to Saki's side in an instant. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever seen this meme where, like, I think this wife is going up to her husband and she's trying to give him a glass of water, but she's, like, stirring it with a spoon and then just hands it to him. It's kind of like, well, it looks like water. It probably is water, but why are you stirring it? You don't stir water. Like, what did you do to it? You know, it's kind of that situation. I feel like he was very afraid to take a bite, because he has no idea necessarily what could be in there. She kept, like, putting in his mind that maybe something happened to it from this other guy that gave it to her. Lopez put her hand on her cheek and sighed in a troubled manner as Saki glared at me. I didn't want to eat that for a different reason.
でも兄さんは結局何も食べなかったのよね。
Why is everyone against me, okay? I drank some coffee, there you go.
余計胃に悪いじゃない。まったく。
Yeah, drinking just coffee I don't think is great, but... I put in milk and sugar, so I'm fine. If I said that, she probably would have gotten even angrier, so I said nothing.
仲良くなさい。内藤くんも無理しないようにね。
Okay, fine. Floppress patted me once on the back and walked off. Well, you were of no help. After I watched her go, Saki looked at me as though she wanted to say something. What is it?
別に。それじゃ、私も行くから。
Okay, everyone's acting very cold towards us. I guess this is okay. I really doubt it was nothing, but I figured it wasn't my place to ask what was on her mind. Okay, see you. That was an interesting interaction. I returned to my classroom. Even if I wasn't hungry, I couldn't refuse this, so I put it to my lips to squeeze out the contents. 10-second recharge, or whatever the catchphrase went. After school. All my classes were over, and in light of my physical condition, I passed on club for the day. I was waiting for someone at the school gate.
あら、兄さん。きちんと待っててくれたのね。
Yeah, it feels like I just saw you. Because I literally just did. At least in my eyes, of course. She sounded like an owner praising her dog, and I didn't see what was so good about it, considering that she's the one who texted me and told me to wait. Though the text only said to wait if I went home anyways, there was no telling what would befall me afterwards.
けれど、こんなところで後輩の女の子を待ってて、何か言われないかしら。
People start rumors over the dumbest shit all the time. Not really. The ones who know our circumstances that you're my sister, and the ones who don't can say whatever they want. Just to reiterate, our school's Tsukio Academy has 3 grades at the annex building and 3 at the main building, meaning 6 in total, all part of their escalator system. Both shared the specialty wing and its facilities, but the main classrooms were in separate buildings. If I were going to meet up, the school gate was the easiest place to do so.
つまり兄さんは付属の後輩に手を出してるって噂が流れてもいいのね。
Like I said, they can say whatever they want. Matter of life and death. It'd be one thing if it wasn't Saki. In fact, it wasn't like there was any couples between the annex and the main building. If the rumors about Saki and me were heard by someone in her family, there was no telling what would happen. A chill ran up my spine.
冗談よ。ね、兄さん。
Ah, yeah, totally. Saki smiled sweetly and began to walk. She didn't hold hands or link arms with me. Was that joke also a threat? Like, who knows what kind of rumors will go around if you defy me? I won't lose. Even if I wind up in something horrible, I won't give in. Yeah. In the end, rumors were just rumors, right? If I gave in to Saki, then she'll probably explain things to her family before it turned into a big deal. Saki wouldn't like it if I died because of unfounded rumors. I thought optimistically as I followed her. Scary woman, guys. Scary woman. Didn't have anything else to do special to do on the way home. I was just walking Saki home. Even though it would be better for Saki to get a ride with Takahara-san, she usually didn't.
だって高原さんだってお仕事中なんだし、それに毎日車で移動してたら太っちゃうかもしれないじゃない。
I mean, that's true. Walking home from school, I'm sure, would be quite the workout. Keep you in shape. Even though she said that, just looking at her, I think it would be fine if she had a little bit more meat on her, but the one time I said that out loud, she put me through hell. Yeah, that sounds
どうし
right.
たの？
It's nothing. Betsuni. Though she was walking in front of me, I guess she felt my gaze on her because she looked back. Even though she used to follow behind us. Remembering the word us in the dream from this morning, I suddenly felt dizzy. It was just for a moment, so I didn't collapse, but Saki looked up at me with a worried look in her eyes.
どうしたの兄さん？大丈夫？
Yeah, I think it's because I didn't have lunch. I felt a little lightheaded. I made up a likely excuse.
まったくしょうがない兄さんなんだから。
I'm hoping we get an explanation of who this other person is. Like, was it a sibling, a sister, you know, something like that? I have no idea. Saki sounded annoyed from me from the bottom of her heart, but there was no mistaking the fact that I was worrying her. I'll eat something when I get home.
それなんだけど、今日はこのまま家に来ない？
Why? Ah, so that's where she's going, I thought, but I answered without giving any indication I had noticed anything.
なんでって。兄さん、相変わらずちゃんとしたもの食べてないでしょ。
Yeah, I can just eat some cup noodles or something, right? I eat 3 meals a day fit for a male student living on his own. My nonchalant answer made Saki's face turn sour. She didn't puff out her cheeks or anything cute like that. If anything, she was more like she was looking down on me. Yeah, I definitely can see that from some of her actions. She definitely seems to, like he said before, look at us more like a dog that's not behaving well.
ふーん、そう。それじゃあ、普段よりも高いものは食べたくないかしら？
I don't know. I can't really say anything because I was thinking about having like some cup noodles for lunch here before I go back to work. So I might do the same as he was planning, but we'll see. I told you that the food at your house is delicious, but I get tired, so I don't like to eat there. Saki's family's company was run out of their home estate, and the main building was a Japanese-style mansion. It was insanely huge, so some of the company's employees actually lived there. For meals, sometimes the employees ate there with their families. You could call it a nice homely company, but it would be hard to call the mealtime seat in the main hall normal. Saki and her family took the seats of honor while the rest of the seating was determined by rank. They should just throw me in one of the corners where the younger guys joked around with each other. It's usually what happened if I just casually went over there to hang out, but when I'm invited for dinner, that wouldn't do. I'd be seated to the side of the company's president's family, right next to Saki, and have dinner next to the highest-ranking employees like the Hosono men and Takahara-san. And just by being Saki's childhood friend, I got treated pretty well by the people in the company. Regardless of how the food was, being there was a very, very tiring experience.
兄さんは適当に行きたいとか言ってるくせに、細かいこと気にしすぎなのよ。
I don't know, it just sounds like he's very introverted. I mean, introverted people tend to be around a lot of big crowds and they get really drained. They don't like to be around them for too long, especially if it's a social gathering. It's different if it's in public, I would assume, but I don't know, because I'm pretty introverted. I feel like, I mean, I can appear extroverted sometimes, but I'm a pretty introverted person, and like, if I'm in a big crowd, I don't like being in a big crowd, like, even if it's just, like, in public, I don't, I like more intimate settings, but yeah, especially, like, after being, like, at a party or something for a while, like, I just kind of, like, run out of my social battery, and I just want to leave. I'm just like, oh, I was having fun, and now suddenly I'm not, and I want to go home. I've had that happen quite a few times. I just wanted to say it was precisely because I worried about the small stuff that I wanted to live without much fuss, but I barely managed to swallow those words. I'm tired today, so I'd like to take it easy by myself.
あら、それってアンに私にも来るなって言ってるように聞こえるけど。
Yes, that is exactly what I'm telling you. I'm glad you got the hint. I am. There we go, Toru. I like it. Just tell her. Sometimes Saki came to my place for dinner if I didn't go to hers. Then when Takahara-san would arrive to pick Saki up at night, she would look at me with a smile, even though in her eyes she clearly wasn't smiling. Sometimes Saki even stayed the night. When that happens, it's bad for my heart, both while she's here and after she
今日は
leaves.
普段より意地が悪いのね、兄さん。私を悲しませて楽しい？
Yes. Even if I'm being mean, it's not as much as you usually are. Saki wasn't exactly mean, but she did annoy me, so same difference. I'll send you off, so go home for today. Don't worry, I'll eat dinner. Saki had a look on her face that managed to be both condescending and concerned. I was going to have to compromise. Like hell, I was going to let her spend the night at my place. My anxiety would spike, and then I really might collapse. Why don't we just go eat dinner with her right now? Or just go eat a meal?
仕方がないわね。今日は兄さんの好きなカニだって言ってたの
Gosh
に。
dang. What kind of meals are you guys having? Crab is expensive. My wife loves crab, so like whenever we see it on sale, we try to get some, but crab is expensive. My heart wavered a little at that word, but I wasn't going to give in. He's like, I need the crab. Oh, how dare you tempt me. Thanks. Feeling bad for worrying her, I lightly patted her head. She looked at me surprised. What?
なんでもないわよ。
She hurriedly looked away so I couldn't see her face. Given our relationship, I knew I was worrying my childhood friend. There was only a 2-year difference between us. Though worrying about it was a nuisance, I smiled to myself and pretended it was nothing. Ah, lots of pretending it's nothing in this game, huh? We'll see how the night goes. It seems like we're gonna actually eat something, so let's find out what that is. It was just as Saki had said. By the time the sun had started to set, no matter how little appetite I had, my body had gotten sluggish. When I got home, the sluggishness came out in full force, and I passed the time lazily lounging around. I didn't have my part-time job today, so it didn't matter, but I realized I shouldn't have been so rough on myself. I understood that, but still. I didn't even have the energy to do some light cooking, so I had to take out bento for dinner as usual. I mean, to be fair, I feel like takeout bentos in Japan are probably better than some of the food here. So, it might be not too bad. Half the garbage bag in the kitchen consisted of empty cases from the bento place I usually went to. Every time Saki saw that, she'd make a point to scowl at me. We just gotta change it before she gets over it. Don't worry about it. But cooking just wasn't in my nature, so I couldn't help it. At most, I sometimes did some light cooking when I really, really felt like it. I feel like I've started to cook more as I've gotten older. I mean, it's certainly better than eating out all the time. It's a lot cheaper, too, and you can just make way better stuff. So, it's nice to know, like, even as a, you know, someone who doesn't like to cook a lot, like, it's nice to know how to cook a few things, especially things that you have leftovers for. That's what I tend to do. I like to make a little bit more so I can have it, like, maybe later that day or the next day. Besides, the bentos from the bento place were pretty tasty, so I didn't have much motivation to make something myself. But then sitting here eating by myself kind of made me regret turning down Saki's invitation. Crap. That was one of the classy foods that people living alone didn't usually get to eat. She wouldn't be talking while eating that anyway, so maybe I should have gone. Nah. Oh, that was good. I ended dinner with those empty words and gaze at the TV as I sipped my generic teabag tea. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like teabag tea is not that great. I always hear about people saying to buy, like, loose leaves. I wanted to try that, but I don't know. Maybe a little bit too much effort for me for tea, because it's not like I have tea that often. I'd been watching a variety show of sorts. The people on the screen were laughing heartily, but none of it registered with me. See, this is your problem. You're not watching anime like some kind of degenerate, you know? Like, what are you even doing with your life? Except the black tea I'd made with hot water. It barely had any taste, but I liked how it felt. Wonder why that was, when there was no one around to answer my question. It wasn't important. The sun had set, and it would be soon time for children to go to bed. Even if you weren't a child, the Sandman eventually comes for everyone. If you stayed up all night, you could get away with not sleeping, but unless you had special circumstances as a living creature, sleep was inevitable. But when I slept, I dreamed. There was many times I was a little reluctant about sleeping because of my nightmares, but it wasn't like this was the first time I'd ever had that dream. If only it were a one-time screening. I murmured and I leaned back, but there was only a wish, and there was no telling what could happen. Actually, with dreams, the content should change depending on what you were thinking about, but that dream wasn't the kind of dream that would end with just one occurrence. That might have been a weird belief or delusion of mine, and maybe an unconscious wish, but I had a premonition that it would happen again. It might happen because I believed it would. In that case, I was really beyond all help. I understand it was a nightmare, and yet believe that I was going to have it again, even though I didn't want to. Clearly, somewhere deep inside me, I was wishing for it, but just how much did I want to see that dream? Even though I'd finally got to the point where I wasn't having it anymore. It made me feel guilty towards various people, especially Saki. Well, I guess there's no point in thinking about it now. It was no use being afraid and complaining about a dream I hadn't had yet. If I was going to go to sleep in tonight, I would have a fun, carefree dream. This dream will definitely be fun. I'll eat crab and feel like a confused horror protagonist. I don't care if I feel like dying for embarrassment when I wake up. Tonight's dream is going to be a party. Yahoo! I have a feeling it's going to be anything but a party. I kind of think it's going to be the reoccurring dream. Maybe we'll get to go a little bit further this time. Maybe we'll see who that mysterious voice is that we heard before. Come on, let me have a party. When I fell asleep, I found myself standing in a strange, unfamiliar room. Grand, ornate, luxurious, that sort of room. Wow, we literally just reset to the start of the game. There was a large table in the center, and on the table were steaming pots of expensive-looking cups and a wide assortment of various colored sweets. Everything was set as if it were for a tea party. Well, there you go. We're having tea, we're having a party. Just what you wanted, right? I'm sure nothing weird will happen. So a tea party tonight. In that case, maybe I wish to have a party really did come true. But it wasn't the sort of place I would personally want to relax in. Even though it was such a grand room, the colors were all messed up. Black, white, red, purple, pink, blue, a flamboyantly mismatched array from what I could see. The colors of the room reminded me of a butterfly. No, wait, what was it called again? Gothic Lolita? Oh gosh. Are we gonna see a certain character? I mean, of course I've seen what all the characters look like, at least some of the main ones. So I know exactly who they're talking about when they mention Gothic Lolita. I remembered hearing something about Saki from Rococo. Am I pronouncing that right? Rococo? And Gothic Lolita were different, but I couldn't remember the details. At any rate, although the room looked like a noble could have lived there because of the color scheme, it looked ridiculous. I wonder if it's actually ridiculous or if it's just foreign to him and it makes him think it's ridiculous. Because, I mean, looking at the picture, it looks normal, I guess. Outside of the window was completely overgrown with all sorts of plants as if they were some sort of botanical garden. Other than the light spilling out from the room, there was no artificial sort of lighting that I could see. The only light came from the moon and stars flickering in the sky, and even then, that was mostly obstructed by the overgrown trees of the forest. Although it was night, flowers bloomed gosh, with the complicated words that we don't usually use in English. Ostentatiously, and plants, intent on inserting themselves, grew vigorously. Their colors were the same as the room, the flowers, stems, trunks, leaves, everything. It was an eccentric display of an abnormal hues and shades. There were red stems leading to green flowers, blue leaves growing on pink trees. It almost hurt my eyes just to look at them. Huh. So we, like, messed with the color filter, huh? This whole world is... I don't know. I'm assuming this is a different world because it's a dream, right? And then he's already said, like, the colors are off and everything. So it has to be a different place, right? There's no sign of anyone having ever disturbed the place. The room was saturated with the essence of growing plants. It was as though this room was in the middle of a forest. On that thought, I managed not to drop to my knees as I suppressed a deep, churning feeling coming from the pit of my stomach. Wow, that was a very sudden mood shift here. Just from the dialogue, the music in the background. I really don't like this smell. The scent of the forest reminded me of unpleasant things. People who said that trees were soothing were people who have never lived out in nature. I don't know, I feel like people that lived out in nature would still say they're soothing. Some people like that. I wanted to live in a jungle of concrete for the rest of my life. The smell of car exhaust is better than the smell of trees. Anyway, since I don't know how to wake up from the dream, there was no point in struggling. Fortunately, the room was full of the scent of sweets and black tea. It was unpleasantly sweet, but now it was a lot better than what was outside the window. I wonder if there's anything I can do. No matter where I looked, there was no relaxing colors. And though I resented my own mind for having these lucid dreams, it wasn't like resenting it would solve anything. I easily recognized a dream as a dream, even as I dreamed it. And I remembered it clear as day when I awoke. And when I was in good form, or maybe it was the dream that was in good form, I could control the dream to a certain extent. I couldn't tell if it just depended on the state of my mind or if it was just a matter of getting absorbed into the moment. It seemed that I was in bad form for tonight's dream. I closed my eyes trying to imagine a more relaxing room and snapped my fingers. But when I opened my eyes, the room was still as it was. When I'm in good form, it changes with a single stroke. In fact, I could change the colors as if I were flipping through pages of a calendar, but it looked like that wasn't the case with today's dream. Because of things like this, being able to tell that you're dreaming wasn't that great. At least I didn't think of it as a good thing. In the end, even I wanted to do something in this dream. It was still only a dream. Sometimes it doesn't even go the way I want. On top of that, even though I'm asleep, it's like I'm fully awake in my dreams. While my body might be resting, my mind doesn't get any such reprieve. I could really only rest when I slept like a log and didn't dream, and that rarely happened. Almost every day I dream, so at least I want to be able to rest in my dreams. And yet here I was in a brightly colored room nestled with a dense forest. Is my dream harassing me? My own mind was certainly doing a good job at it. Do I really like painful experiences that much? Well, it's not like I've never had nightmares before. I just want to say real quick, I wonder if this is going to be kind of a game where we kind of explore the real world, right? We start having different experiences, but we also start exploring maybe like some kind of dream world, or maybe this dream world's set in one place. Maybe it kind of changes each time we have a dream. Maybe we can go to different places, and maybe through these dreams we're gonna kind of experience what happened to Toru and what happened to his, I'm assuming, his sister sibling, or friend, somebody close to him, didn't make it out of this forest. I feel like that's kind of what they're setting us up for right now. But we'll have to see. It's a lucid dream, so I'm imagining we'll start becoming more lucid and we're able to like start doing more stuff in the dream and really exploring and taking our time here. We could also possibly get trapped in the dream. That could be something that happens too. I'm not entirely sure where they're going with this. I see the direction, I don't see like kind of the end. So I want to keep reading and see if we can kind of figure that out more here. Closed my eyes again and snapped my fingers like a signal, but as I expected, the stage still didn't change. This at least had better be good, I thought as I reached for a teapot. If it tastes horrible or something, I'm gonna have to seriously resent today's dream. I'll wish to never have this dream again. And because I'll be thinking about it so much, I'll probably end up coming here several times. I like to think dreams were similar to suddenly listening to a voice you randomly overhear in the city. Once you have it in your mind, it becomes impossible to unhear it. If you just hadn't paid it any attention, the voice would have disappeared into the background noise. Maybe I can wake up somehow. If that meant going through the forest, then I'd rather sit here patiently and wait for morning. I grew restless as I sank deeper into the sofa and I reached for one of the pots of black tea. With all the sweets lined up on the table, would Saki be happy? Would Club Prez look for something that wasn't sweet? As I pondered over that, I suddenly overheard footsteps approaching. Oh, okay, so we're actually going to meet somebody else. I wonder if this is going to be somebody we know or maybe somebody we don't. I didn't know how long they had been there, but there was an impressive set of wooden doors at the entrance to the room. Is someone coming? The instant I thought that, the vines in the door started moving and growing, as if completely indifferent to the floors and the walls. The rate of their growth was like watching a time-lapse video. The vines quickly sprouted buds in an assortment of different colors, red and purple, silver and yellow, but most of them blossomed into red roses. The roses glowed faintly and released a sweet and gentle, but robust scent akin to roasted honey. What is this? The next thing I knew, they started blooming little by little around me too. I felt captivated by the sweet aroma of the flowers. All the roses blossomed around me. I felt like I could fall asleep right here. Why was I mesmerized by the sensation? Scent of an impossible wish? When I heard that voice from the other side of the doors, my body froze. No, it wasn't just my body. I felt as though my blood had become as cold as ice. Those flowers bloom around people who have a wish and fall asleep. Surrounded by those flowers, they will surely be able to have happy dreams within that lovely scent. That's not ominous at all. Voice giggled happily. I tried to utter a response, but my throat had gone dry. A hollow sound came out from my breath as it spilled from my lungs, causing my throat to tremble. I looked up at the doors. Oh boy. I think that's who I think it is. She looks a little bit scarier here, though. I don't like the red eyes. I'm wondering why she looks like a devil when this is supposed to be a dream. Maybe this is not a dream. Maybe this is a nightmare. Who knows? We're gonna find out here. They opened slowly as the roses bloomed, releasing a whiff of honey once more. From the darkness on the other side, a figure appeared as if materializing out of thin air. Why? The one who appeared there. It's a nostalgic sound, the voice of someone I could no longer meet, someone who no longer existed. Is she supposed to be the person we lost in the forest? Is that why she's stuck here? Once saying there was a girl I couldn't lead out of the forest. Oh, okay, so it really was her. If I could take a step back, I would have become entangled in the roses that grew behind me, but since I was sitting on the sofa, I just leaned against the back of my seat. Around me, the flowers bloomed, ever increasing in number. Entwined around the sofa, me and even the table, the light they released brightened the room. The figure who had appeared walked step by step to my side. Though I'd never seen her like this, I knew who she was. I didn't recognize her appearance, but there was no mistaking it. Maya, why are you alive? Maya, the name of the girl I couldn't lead from the forest. I struggled to get up from the sofa. During that time, Maya walked slowly towards me. During that time, flowers sprouted all around her. Oh. Yeah, and I've gotten this impression since I first saw her. She definitely is one of those characters that is, like, devilishly sweet. You know, they, like, try to sweet talk you. Maybe they try to make you, make deceiving deals. Maybe they want something from you. Interesting. I have a feeling she's gonna be quite the character, just from this little CG right here, and from what I've seen of her just on, like, the home screen. Is there something wrong with me being here? Considering you didn't make it out of the forest, I guess. Reached up and ran her hand across my cheek. Though I hadn't seen Maya for a long time, the way she looked now was definitely like that of an older Maya. She looked just like how I imagined she would. It's just very ominous timing. to say the least. Why are you again?
どうしてって？本当にわからない？そんなわけはないでしょ。
She climbed on my lap as I tried to escape and gently held me against her chest. Through her clothes, her small blossoming breasts brushed against my cheek.
分かってくれるって私にはわかるもの。本当にまた会えて嬉しいわ。
I...
こんなに可愛い笑顔を浮かべて。喜んでくれて嬉しいわ。
I mean, should I be happy? This music is very ominous. It, like, just kind of leads me to believe, like, there's more to this situation than I'm seeing at the moment. Maya traced the edge of my mouth with her finger. As she neared the end of my lips, I felt her touching curve upwards. It seemed I was really smiling. She hugged me tightly again. I missed the smell of toasted honey, black tea, and sweets. There was now a different smell, the familiar smell of a forest. Why? Are you really still in that forest? I already knew the answer to that. No, that wasn't what I wanted to ask. There was no way she could still be alive in that forest. Why? I didn't know what to say. As Maya held me, she joyfully squinted her eyes and smiled brilliantly. Ah, this was Maya's smile. She was always a troublesome person who smiled as though she was making fun of you. Oh, don't like that smile.
そんなことばかり気にして。もっと素直に喜んでもいいのに。
Yeah, I don't know if I like that smile, guys. That looks very devilish, very deceiving. I don't know, is this a good dream? I don't think this is a good dream. I'm smiling, but should I be smiling? No. I don't know. Why would I be?
嬉しくないの？
I don't know. Should I be? Should I be happy? I feel a little bit of concern. The words, of course I am, and please don't ever appear again, came to mind. This is a very conflicting. This is, what do they call scaroused? You know, when you're, like, kind of turned on, but you're also very scared. I guess that feeling would probably come to mind. Maybe not for Toru. I don't know, because I don't know what their relationship was. Like, were they just kind of friends? Were they family? You know, is this siblings? I have no idea. I wasn't sure which were the ones I wanted to say. It might have been both. Whichever it was, I held my mouth. Maya didn't seem like she would have cared which one it
どう
was.
せ夢なのよ。なら素直に喜べばいいじゃない。
I don't know. I'm a big proponent in dreams can affect reality. Not necessarily like you're gonna start manifesting things like physically, but like I do feel like it affects you mentally. Like you can have a dream and it can feel so real that like it kind of affects your mental state, especially for the day. But I think it can even affect it like long term. Like I feel like some people just have like reoccurring dreams that really like mess them up mentally. So yeah, I'd be concerned, especially because this is a very vivid dream. I can't. If I accept this dream, then once again I'll. As if I were throwing a tantrum, Maya giggled with a composed look in her face.
もしも一緒に帰れたらいつでもこうできていたのかしら。
Those words I froze. The roses that she said blossomed with wishes clustered around us, shedding their petals, and growing even more. The flowers didn't wither, but instead continued to surround us in their faint glow.
叶うわ。夢の中でも身を任せてしまえばいつまでも一緒にいられるもの。
I don't know. So I'm assuming she wants us to fall asleep here. I don't know. Is this a good idea? I don't know. I'm a little worried about it. Your smile right now is sweet and innocent. The one before it was not, and left me very concerned. I trembled when I heard that. Was it out of fear or something else? I couldn't tell. Why am I again? Why was I having a dream like this? I would only wake up shaking again, looking for my glasses and make Saki and Club Prez worry about me. Is this the reality that I had to look forward to? It was everything I didn't need.
起きなければいいの。いつまでも一緒。寂しいならみんなも呼びましょう。きっとサキちゃんだって喜んでくれるわ。
Oh, we're just gonna pull everyone else in the dream. Why not? When I heard that name, my chest ached.
そうすればまたあの頃に戻れるわ。私たちが3人一緒にいたあの頃にね。
I don't know. I'm always someone like when I'm watching a movie where they're like, "Oh, just give in to the dream and we can be happy," or animes that kind of have that idea. I feel like it's always just a bad idea. It's always bad to live in kind of like a Matrix type situation where you're like, "Oh, I have everything I need here and I'm happy, but I can go down and I can take the pill, right, and see things for as they truly are, and you realize that everything wasn't as happy as you thought. You just had this kind of mirage of happiness, if that's the right word. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. I'm wondering if this is a situation where I can be like, I have to say yes and I have to give in, but maybe I can go back at some point and say no. It'll be like a what if, like what if I just chose not to do this? Those words captured my heart. I didn't want to hear if I couldn't escape from it. She wasn't supposed to be here, but I wanted her to be. It really is you. At my words, she giggled softly in my ear. But a dream is just a dream.
そうね。だけど夢が全てならそれでいいのよ。
Like I said, I think it's important to remember your mental state. I think giving in to dreams too much can be dangerous. She gently embraced my head. To lose myself, is such a thing possible?
できるわ。望むのなら。
If I did that, could I be with Maya again? I wasn't hoping for a world that was molded to my every desire, as long as a world that had Maya. I heard her giggle. I knew I shouldn't be doing this, but a sweet scent, a kind voice, a solid warmth in front of me. If my wish really came true, then...
君の願いは本当にそれでいいの?
The sudden voice startled me. When I looked at Maya, she released me and was looking in the direction of that voice. There was a look of amusement on her face. Suddenly, the wish-granting roses around us disappeared as they melted into the air. Leaving no trace, they vanished in a flash of light as though they had been erased. But before that, Maya lightly skipped her way to the door. What's... The sound of Maya's joyful giggling grew ever more distant. I don't know if someone just saved us or ruined us from being happy. I'll have to find out. As all my strength left me, I fell over on the side of the sofa. I could hear a voice, a dignified voice different from Maya's. It literally is just Misaki. It's literally just her voice. Just before I closed my eyes, I saw the figure of someone else standing over me as if protecting me from Maya. I want to know who it is! No, don't end it there. It was just getting good. Chapter 2, in Wonderland. We'll see how this goes.
もしかしたらまだどこかにいるんじゃないか。私はふとした時にそんなことを考えることがある。そんなことはないって分かっているのに、そう思わせるだけのものがあの子にはあった。私がそんなことを考えているとしたら、もういないあの子はなんて言うだろう。ほんと、二人とも手間がかかるんだから。そんなことを言いそうだなと思う。けれど、もういないんだから言うわけがない。私でさえそうなんだ。じゃあ、あの人はどう思っているだろうか。気にしているのは当たり前。だから今、私はこうしている。こうなるしかなかった。こうするしかなかった。そうでなければ、きっと壊れてしまっていた。
Gosh, I'm so confused. What's going on?
わかってるの。兄さん。
Is Saki talking then?
私たちには、この関係しかないものね。
Ooh, are we actually waking up? I wasn't sure if we were going to wake up from that dream. It definitely felt like we were getting pretty enveloped there. Suddenly I heard the voice of my alarm clock. The sound of my alarm clock. I don't know. Either way, I don't like it. I don't care if it's a sound or if it's a voice. I don't like getting woken up in the morning by an alarm clock. I'd rather naturally wake up. It's always very frustrating when you're like, oh, I gotta go to work or I gotta go to school, whatever it is you have to do that day. It's not exciting, for sure. Seems to have been going for a while. Had I been able to wake up because of this noise? No, that's not it. The feeling that I had at the end where I couldn't move and it felt like my strength had left me, that feeling seems to remain in the core of my body, making it hard to get up. The sensation dragged on even though I was awake. If that girl hadn't showed up, would I have woken up like this? With that thought, I remembered the events of yesterday and shuddered. My glasses. Aside from my arms feeling heavy, I found it difficult to open my eyes. The slightest bit of light made my head hurt. With my eyes closed, I reached towards my bedside and searched for my glasses, but they weren't where they were supposed to be. Huh? Where were they? So I was moving my hands searching for my
はい、
glasses.
兄さん。
As I was still patting around my head, Saki put my glasses on my face. Feeling the cold touch of the frame and the warmth of Saki's palms, my heavy laden head finally woke up, and I settled into my usual feeling of waking up badly. I somehow lifted up my creaking body. Through the lenses of the glasses, I saw Saki standing next to my bed.
お
Ah,
はよう、兄さん。
Ohio. I was relieved that Saki was here and I was able to wake up, but... Wait, why are you here like that's normal? It might seem normal since she was here yesterday, but she almost never came here twice in a row. Even if she did, it was really rare for her to wake me up 2 days in a
な
row.
んでって、心配だったから今日も様子を見に来たのよ。
Yeah, I just had a weird dream about Maya, you know, the person that was supposed to not be here, but like somehow appeared in my dream, and she's like, oh yeah, just come, you know, come into La La Land with me. Oh, I just told you yesterday not to come here without permission. How many times did I have to tell her not to just come and check me, to not just come in here with her duplicate key? Even if we did have a brother-sister relationship, this wasn't a house that we were living in together. It's my apartment in which I lived alone. Lucky was as carefree about it as ever, as she was just entering a family member's, her brother's
何
room.
言ってるのよ。昨日ほどうなされてたわけじゃないけど、あんな苦しそうな顔をしていたくせに強がっちゃって。
My tone was curt, but Saki paid it no heed. She folded her arms and looked down at me. It's not like I was just started having nightmares. My mind was on the fact that I apparently looked pretty bad. I looked away from Saki and sighed. Saki looked at me with a slightly resenting
それ
gaze.
で、また知らない女の声で怖いことでも言われたのかしら？
I would say the familiar voice was, probably the scary one. I think the unfamiliar voice was actually probably trying to save me. Possibly. Well, something like that. The unfamiliar girl seemed to be my ally, but... My dreams were just dreams, keeping the more important details a secret from Saki. I got out of my bed. I don't know. There's a very big dreaming theme going on in this game, and I feel like dreams aren't just dreams in it. Lucky must have turned on the heater when she came because it wasn't cold. Though as a result, I was covered in sweat. My pajamas were sticking to me. I scratched my head, sweat stuck to my
言っ
fingers.
ておくけど、暖房のせいじゃないわよ。来たらもう兄さんってば汗だくだったもの。
I mean, that was a pretty intense dream. It was pretty, vivid, like I've said with all of these dreams. They're very, I don't know, they just feel so real, right? In that case, why didn't you wake me up while I was having my nightmare? I would have been okay with her having forcefully slapped me in order to wake me up. Could it be that she was amused at the sight of me being tormented by my nightmares, so she just silently watched? It is frightening that I couldn't dismiss the possibility.
だって途中で助けちゃったら兄さんってばまた私に黙ってるでしょ？
Saki giggled. She seemed to be having fun. Hey, this is serious. If I was having a bad dream, wake me up. Like, help me out. In other words, it seemed that Saki was waiting for me to suffer enough so I would rely on her. I hope this wasn't actually the case. I don't know. I don't really trust her to not do something mischievous like that. I'd always liked to smile at other people's misery. Now Saki was the same. Jeez, why are my little sisters always like this? Crap, I wasn't being careful. I couldn't mention Maya in front of Saki, let alone tell her that Maya was appearing in my dreams again. I'm gonna take a shower today. Go ahead and have breakfast, Saki. I said bluntly as I got off the bed.
うん。
Yeah, I don't feel like she's just gonna give up that comment easily. She's definitely gonna peer into that more. Lucky looked like she wanted to say something, but I silently grabbed a towel and headed for the bathroom. If I took a shower now, then I probably wouldn't have time to eat breakfast. But even more than yesterday, I didn't have any appetite for breakfast. Yeah, it was a pretty intense dream. We'll have to see about that one. Very enough, the convenience store onigiri that Saki had brought ended up in my fridge. I couldn't have eaten them as we walked, but I got the feeling my body would reject them.
ねえ兄さん、本当に大丈夫？休まなくてよかったの？
Sorry, I wasn't listening. Wasn't that I've been thinking of anything in particular, but I hadn't really been listening to what Saki was saying.
夢見
It happens.
悪いのも実は風邪ひいてるとかが原因じゃないかって言ってるの。
I
兄さ
mean-
ん、その辺無頓着だから。
I don't recall standing out in the rain ever. No, that's not it. There's nothing wrong with me physically.
本当にそうかしら。
Just mentally. As for myself, my physical condition's decent. It's pretty good, right? But mentally, mentally screws everybody, right? Like, especially our generation, everyone's getting mental illness. Everyone's getting depressed or anxiety or some other condition. It's becoming so common. It's ridiculous. Saki looked up at me unconvinced. She was obviously unhappy and didn't even try to hide it. She forcefully pulled me down with my necktie and put her hand on my forehead. Saki, I can't breathe.
確かに熱はないみたいだけど。
It literally sounds like you're choking me. You're literally like pulling my skin apart. I just feel a little out of it because I've had dreams for 2 nights in a row now. I shook her off somewhat forcefully, partly because I didn't want anyone to see us like that.
それでどっちにしろ調子が悪いのに無理しようっていうのね。
Probably. Saki suggested that we get a ride with Takahara-san again today. Takahara-san tended to be overprotective of Saki, though if you considered it as part of her duty, it was probably appropriate. Because of seeing that Takahara-san was nerve-wracking for me, so I passed on that. I also had no intention of causing Takahara-san trouble because of my own circumstances. Saki probably thought that I should worry about my own physical condition before I worried about others, which is a good thing to do. I mean, you should definitely take care of yourself before you look to take care of everyone around you, because if you're not at 100%, it's hard for you to give 100% to somebody else, right? Hey, do I really look that pale? Well, I had taken a shower and the mirror was foggy, plus I didn't really think about it.
呆れた。その程度のことも分かってないだなんて。
I was well aware that I didn't feel well. To be honest, it was a little more hard to walk and I wanted to rest some more, but I was afraid to sleep. Felt like a dream would continue if I fell asleep, so I'd much rather go to school. At least I felt better than I did yesterday. I'm aware that I don't feel well. Wait, did I really feel better than I did yesterday? It's true that I was more traumatized than yesterday, but at least I could move. I feel like that's terrible. You're just like, yeah, I'm pretty traumatized right now, but I can still move. I can still do my day, right? Not very healthy for you. As I came to understand what kind of dream I had, it felt like my body was getting even heavier. The shock was so great yesterday that I was probably numb in that regard, I thought belatedly. In my case, even if I sleep, there's no guarantee I'll be able to rest, right? I confessed to Saki the honest reason why I didn't want to stay at my apartment. Saki would surely understand.
まあそれはそうなんだけど。
My poor physical condition was because of my nightmares. It wasn't like I caught a cold or was physically exhausted. I mean, I feel like not getting good sleep can leave you physically exhausted. I mean, have you ever like just gone to sleep at night and you kind of wake up feeling like more exhausted than you did before you went to sleep? I feel like that's you not getting good sleep. And I mean, I've had that happen to me many times. I mean, sometimes you just, especially like for me, when I don't get enough sleep, like if I get like 4 or 5 hours instead of like 6 or 7, it really makes a big difference. I feel like more physically tired. I feel more exhausted. Like it does really affect you, not just mentally. The only way to fix it was to do something about my mind. Then wouldn't it be better if I went to school? Rather than staying home, I would be able to lead my normal, not sleeping life better than if I went to school and interacted with people. Saki had been on my side watching from the time I started having lucid dreams until it settled down, so she should be able to accept that. But even though she probably understood, she was glaring at
それ
me.
で兄さん、何を隠してるのかしら？
Nothing. What do you mean by hiding? I'm not hiding anything. I was definitely hiding something, and I knew that she knew. But I hadn't thought Saki would ask me so flat out. It's not like I was colluding against her, but I thought that we probably accepted that our relationship was built on lies and secrets. Thought we had both accepted that's how it would be, so for her to ask me so directly seemed like a breach of the rules. There was no telling what would happen if the foundation was ever lost.
何じゃないわよ。なんだか普段よりも兄さんの隠し方が甘いのよ。もっといつもはうまくごまかしてるくせに。
Yeah, I get the feeling these dreams are just going to become more and more lucid. Maybe we're going to get trapped in it, like I said, or maybe it's just going to be something that we just kind of dream at night and kind of go on adventures and do whatever in a different world and then come back and have to manage both lives. That just sounds exhausting. It's like you're really not getting any sleep at all. Lucky smiled faintly.
兄さん、もしかしてそうやって私の気を引こうとしてたのかしら？
No. Ah, yes, let's go with that. Yes, I want you to worry about me. Usual wisecracking. I wanted to wrap up things like that, but Saki looked
構
dejected.
ってほしくてそんなことするなんて本当に仕方のない兄さん なんだから。
Yeah, there's just no hope for me. Till midway through, her tone of voice sounded like she enjoyed criticizing me, but it gradually lost its confidence. It was like she was unable to fool herself completely.
本当にどうしたのよ。
I don't know. Saki, I can't hide my feelings for you anymore. You know, you're supposed to be a sister to me, but I want us to be more than that. I want us to be lovers. And I passed it off like normal. I was acting normally so I wouldn't cause her to worry, to think that I had failed and was only worrying her even more. Saki knew that that was my intention too, so I couldn't tell, so I could tell she was perplexed. What happened? I covered my face with my hand. I couldn't look directly at Saki. The pit of my stomach, I forced out the words as though I was confessing a sin. Oh, he really is confessing, huh? Maybe it was really a confession. My words packed full of remorse somehow spilled out of my mouth as a murmur. Maya started appearing in my dreams again. I covered my face with my hands so that I wouldn't have to look at her. I couldn't bear to see her expression, but I heard her take a deep breath.
そう。
That was all Saki murmured before turning her back to me and walked ahead. She was probably overwhelmed and didn't know what to do either. It felt like I had to do something and I couldn't think of what. Eventually Saki stopped and looked back at me.
やっぱり無理なの？兄さんは。
Carefully selected words in a forced gentle tone of voice. I don't want to return to that time either. Wasn't a real answer. I knew that wasn't what she was asking either. Why was I thinking about Maya? I really want to know how does Saki play into what happened there, and I really want to know more details. I just know they're not going to give me any answers anytime soon. They're really not. But I want to know what the history is kind of behind that. I said it out loud, it would seem like I was affirming something I wasn't doing. I really need to know the context of what happened and how Saki's related to it and everything. I feel like that's kind of important for me to, I don't know, to figure everything out. Alright, we'll go a little bit more. I need to kind of know what's going on here. Saki and I eventually arrived at the school without really exchanging any more words. The door to the classroom was wide open as I was thinking what a waste it would be for the heat to be leaking out into the hallway I entered. I guess I was more relaxed than I thought. Morning. It was at the very moment I gave a casual greeting as I entered the room. Well, thanks. That makes me feel good about myself. Tetsuya had been by the door, and as soon as I walked in, he slapped me on the back and laughed. Don't slap someone who looks pale on the back. Well, it was true that I usually looked pale. When my physical condition was bad, I get nightmares. Some meals aside, I tried to take good care of my body. But there was nothing I could do about my dreams. I had never been able to do anything about them.
おはよう。トール君大丈夫？
No, Asahi, I'm doing terrible. I am dying. I'm probably literally dying right now. Asahi came over leisurely and was surprised when she saw my face. Yeah, morning. Do I really look that bad? Oh, thanks. You could have been a little bit more friendly about it. A little bit more not honest. I see, that's too bad. I walked past Tetsuya after he proudly said that and threw my bag on my desk.
さすがに今日は休んだ方がいいんじゃないのかなって思うんだけど。
Nah, I'll be fine. It'll be great. I can't because of certain circumstances. When I said that, Tetsuya and Asahi both looked at each other.
今日はテストとかはないよね。
Oh, thank goodness.
あったとしても、今日くらい休んでもどうにでもなるだろう。
Tetsuya was the type you'd expect to say, don't miss school, but he actually wasn't that fussy about it. Though he never missed a school himself, he once said that something to the effect of he was himself and other people were other people. That's a great way to live life. You know, worry about yourself. I think it's important to like try to like have concern for other people and like help them out, but don't do it to the point where you're like, oh, you should live your life this way when you don't really understand like what their thought process is and their feelings and their goals, right? I mean, people think differently than you, and that's okay. I mean, you should encourage people to do what really makes them happy, not what would make you happy for them, right? Sometimes I just found him to be more philosophical rather than just carefree. It was probably just an illusion, but I thought that maybe Tetsuya was actually an extraordinary guy as I found myself responding to him. Hey Tetsuya, if you know something's wrong but you think it's right, what should you do?
なんだそりゃ。全問答が何かか？
I mean, let's really dissect that for a second. If you know something's wrong, but you think it's right, That's very conflicting, because if you know that it's wrong, but you think it's right, I feel like that's like if you have like a guilty pleasure. So if you're talking about like, I like watching this show, I know it's not good for me, but I like doing it anyways. I think that's kind of what, or I kind of like watching it. I think that's kind of what he's saying. Or if he knows like, oh, this piece of candy is not good for me, but I want to eat it anyways. I guess that's kind of what he's hinting at. Because if you take this at just face value, that's such a contradiction. Like, how would that be possible? You know something's wrong, but you think it's right. You just said that you know something's wrong. You don't think it is, you know it's wrong, but you think it's right. Like, that would make no sense, right? So I think it's more of a condition of, I know it's bad for me, but I want to do it anyways. And especially when we're relating it to kind of what happened last night, maybe giving in to Maya, he knows that's like the wrong thing to do. Like, that's not healthy. And maybe there's like some trauma and stuff that's going on with that, but he wants to give into it. He thinks it's the right thing to do, though it's wrong. If that makes sense. Of course, there's no way he'd be able to understand with so little context. It's nothing. Sorry for the weird question. Tetsuya cocked his head in confusion, just then the warning bell for the morning homeroom chimed. Alright, we'll talk to you later. Asahi ran back to her seat. Tetsuya's seat was right next to mine, but Asahi's was a good ways in front of ours. Fair enough. I mean, if you don't know, you might as well do whatever, right? How could you know the outcome either way? That's a half-assed answer. Probably, but like you just said, you didn't give him much context to go off of, so I feel like that's kind of all he could say, right? I mean, I wouldn't really blame him for that one. I was confused precisely because I didn't know what I wanted to do. You can hope, but you can always stop yourself, right? I wonder. Someone would stop me. Someone would either stop me or I'd go through another painful experience, that was all. Well, you already have your answer then. If that's the logic you want to go based off, someone did stop you last night from really being consumed whole by Maya. There was a voice that reached out and pretty much said, like, hey, don't do that. I didn't want to continue relying on that someone. Very, very interesting. I kind of curious to know more. The bell rang and morning classes ended. I think I'm going to leave it here. I think we're going to go through probably the rest of our day at school, and then we'll kind of see where things lead us from there. But I want to stop it here. And hopefully next episode we'll start to, maybe in the later half of the episode, get some context. Maybe sooner than later, who knows? We can always hope. But I think this is a good stopping point. We kind of learned more about Maya, the person that Toru lost in the forest. And we're kind of like starting to unravel what exactly happened with that and who this character is. And we're just kind of learning a little bit more about Saki. Saki apparently knows about the situation and seemed really concerned that we were having those type of dreams again. Like she was involved possibly in the original incident, or at least like knew about it. Maybe a little bit of jealousy. Maybe she wanted to kind of replace Maya as the sister. Maybe that's why she kind of became Aramoto. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of theorizing some possibilities. There could be like something more, I don't know, for lack of a better word. No, I don't even want to say that word. There could be more motive behind why she kind of is our sister character. I guess that's what I'm trying to point out. We'll have to see. We'll have to really see what everyone's involvement was in this and kind of what happens. I'm hoping we'll start to see it more as we dream, and we'll really get into this other world that we're kind of exploring. I have a feeling it's going to become bigger than just one room, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, guys, I'm enjoying Hapymaher. It's definitely different. I feel like this is a game it's like a kind of a slow burn at first, and it's going to really, heat up quickly. And I'm hoping that's the case, and I'm hoping I get to see that rather soon. But anyways, you guys, I appreciate you, and I shall see you in the next one.